Picasso, man. What we doing right here is we drawing this real vivid picture, man, for the whole world to see. It's called Be Yourself. Book 'em on the check-in, baby. Let's go.
Alone in the booth with the beats on. Put my heart and my soul into each song. I'm a peasant in the game trying to reach throne by giving hooks that'll knock your head clean off. They scream non-violence among police sirens. No job, but the kids know the streets hiring. No pension, a boxes they retirement. The trenches are deep, I tell kids keep climbing. Lou J made it, anybody can make it out. Death thirsty, she always wanna take you out. That's why I always stay monogamous and be there for mine. I never do what my father did. Disappear in the fog, it's all crystal clear. But in the end, I thank God he never interfered. If death is a blessing, then why you wish him here? In the fog, I feel it's all more crystal clear. Tell me I'm never gonna make it, so I should just quit today. My dream's too big and most people will never see things my way. So will I quit? No way, no way. I ain't gonna stop now. No way, no way. That ain't in my... I'm different from the rest, never pitching to impress. Those who can't relate never lived under my stress. When I look in my daughter's eyes, I see hope. For this cold world, got my Scully and Pete coat. It's smooth sailing, sharks lurk by each boat. No friends, enemies I keep close, and keep toast like a breakfast platter. Not for juxing, but protection rather. You can't show weakness living amongst animals, cause they'll eat you alive just like cannibals. Life's a gamble, I know when to cash out. Been through it all, at 12 I was a man-child. Stand up guy, never will I stand down. And too prideful, I ever take a hand out. Enough drive to open doors like chauffeurs, till I come up with more bread than a toaster. Told me I'm never gonna make it, so I should just quit today. My dream's too big and most people will never see things my way. So will I quit? No way, no way. I ain't gonna stop now. No way, no way. They told me I'm never gonna make it, so I should just quit today. My dream's too big and most people will never see things my way. So will I quit? No way, no way. I ain't gonna stop now. No way, no way. That ain't in my blood.
The Real Point Podcast is sponsored by The Phone Booth,
the one-stop wireless shop for cell phones, accessories, activations, payments, unlockings, and repairs.
They're located at 546 Market Street in Paterson, New Jersey. The number there is 973-225-0901.
Make sure you get your gaming systems, your hoverboards, your iWatches. They have it all. Definitely have your trap phones too.
For real. Make sure you stop there, get your shit fixed if you drop your phone.
And make sure you tell them that the Real Point Podcast sent you, and you'll get a 5% off yourself.
All right.
Building 3, we in here, the cause, New Jupiter, we in here. Real Point Podcast with Derek and BB. Tuning in now cause I'm scared of the TV. Need a real media source, streaming of course. Feeding the thoughts and calls, I'm the king with the force. Making a real point or ill joint when you coming through. Real Point Podcast, right in front of you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Point Podcast, episode 60 of season 2.
I am BB.
This is Derek.
We're the Real Point Podcast. Make sure you check us out live right now. We're on YouTube Live. We're on Facebook Live.
Yes, sir.
And later on, we'll be on Google Play,
SoundCloud,
iTunes,
Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio.
All of the above. So
yes,
we be all over. Today's a special, different type of show.
Yep.
So who we got in the building?
Councilman Andre Sayegh, 6th Ward, Paterson.
There you go.
candidate
pronounced
for
it properly as
I know,
well.
I know how to pronounce it.
I like that too because I would have messed that all.
I have cursed.
I would have messed that all up. So all right, so definitely. I mean, you don't mind me call you Andre, right?
No,
right.
I prefer that you.
All right,
call me
I'm
Andre.
gonna call
Not
you
councilman.
No. Well, hopefully after May 8th, you'll be calling me Mayor, but you
Mr.
still
Mayor.
could call me
Mr.
Andre.
Mayor.
All right, I like that. I like that.
And just so you know, my friends call me Dre, so if you want to take it even
Oh,
that.
okay.
Oh, there we go. Then I'm,
There we
yeah,
go, there we go.
I'm gonna do the Dre. I'm gonna
There
do the
you
Yeah,
Dre.
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
All right, let's make it.
Right,
let's-
right. Some people talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips, just a bunch of gibberish.
Ah, there
They
we
forgot
go.
about Dre. But I'm
There
not
we
here to
go.
freestyle, don't worry.
There we go. We're gonna.
The
I'll spare
councilman
your
knows we're on a
audience.
hip hop podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you coming through
Thank
too.
you. I
Doing this.
appreciate the opportunity.
All right, so let's start off by saying. Let's start this off by Are you born and raised in
Yes,
Paterson?
sir. Patterson's the only home I've ever known. I see Derek's got the shirt. I got it as well from the Black Flag Shop. I highly recommend
yep,
people
yep.
patronize this local establishment.
All
I
right.
was raised by a single mother in the city, and all she wanted for my brother and me was that we get a quality education, and we became productive citizens in this country.
All right.
So I went to Seton Hall University. I earned my bachelor's degree in history. I graduated with the highest honors. I was valedictorian of my class, and then I went on to Columbia University and earned my master's degree in public policy and administration. And as you know, I was elected to the Paterson Board of Education
Right.
in 2004. The thing I pushed for the most, school uniforms.
Right.
Because I believe that students should be competing over what they know, not over what they wear.
Right.
And quite frankly, some students may not be able to compete with their counterparts as far as wardrobes are concerned.
Exactly.
And then it
I
could
love
lead.
you said that too.
It could lead to bullying. Like that's become more of an issue now. So we want to prevent that from happening, and we want them to focus solely on the reason why they're there, their studies.
Yes.
Right.
And also, I pushed for new school buildings because we have some of the oldest school buildings.
Seriously.
Sixth Ward that I represent, we had a school 16, over 100 years old.
Right.
Got a new school now, and guess what? I'm proposing we name that school. I don't want to just be called School 16. This is for Donald Trump. You ready?
Oh,
The
boy.
President Barack Obama Academy.
Oh,
What do you
that's
think?
nice.
Yo,
Good
yo,
to
go.
me.
Give me some bells for
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Give me
yeah.
some
The
bells for
boss
that.
line there.
Give me some bells. Yeah, give me some bells for that. Give me some bells for that.
I like that.
I love that. I love that.
So, all the new schools that have been built within the last 5 years have affected the ward that I represent.
Right.
Because we obviously need new facilities. And also, one thing I pushed when I was school board president, that we moved central office. Do you remember it was on Church Street?
Yeah, I remember it was on Church Street and it moved down to Dayton, right?
Delaware.
Delaware,
It's a
sorry.
D. You're close.
Yeah.
So what happened was, we also had satellites. So we had these bad.
I remember.
You
like,
remember.
There was offices like scattered all
That's
over
good.
downtown.
Right,
And
so
like
we
you
were-
would have to like go.
We had
from one
multiple
building-
leases and
Right.
It for coordination purposes, for symmetry.
Right.
We needed to put everything, or synergy as well, put everything under one roof.
Okay.
And that's what we did. And we put it in the 6th Ward. And guess what? I wanted the restaurants, banks, retail entities to benefit, and they are.
Right.
That stimulated our local economy, which leads me to the council position.
Right.
I was elected in
Yeah,
2008.
you took over Councilman Rooney.
You got a good memory.
Yeah, man. I know my
Derek
city.
done your homework.
I know my
I tell
city.
you- I tell you what, Derek is good in politics and hip hop.
Wow.
And the city of Paterson's history.
Me, I'm good at shit talking and
Oh, he said he was going to curse. What happened?
but I'm sorry.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, but I just that's how I had to say that. But
But yeah, I remember you took over for Councilman Rooney
I
at
did.
the time.
I did. Who was an institution.
Right.
He was iconic. He was a mayor when I was born.
Wow.
And he was a councilman for 28 years.
Yeah. See, my memory of you, like my
Uh-oh, what
earliest,
did I do to you? Do I
my
owe you money?
earliest memory. No, not at all. But my
I
earliest,
just went to the ATM.
my earliest memory of you, right, was you when you like even before like the politics started. I remember watching city council meetings as a kid, and you going up talking about a program for public speaking. I believe
Correct.
for
Very
Toast,
good. I
right?
used to
Wasn't
do
it
that.
Toast or something?
Toastmasters.
Right, I remember
That's
that.
terrific.
I can't
So
be mad at this
we
guy.
had
I
a
can't be mad at
program.
him.
We had a program. It was called Toastmasters.
Right.
To help people improve their public speaking skills.
Right.
And I was one of the leaders.
Right, I remember.
program.
That was like
Yes.
one of the things I remember.
So
like,
we taught how people how to gesticulate,
Right.
all with all these gestures and everything like that, and then
Right.
project your voice and make sure that you have the proper cadence
Right.
when you speak. So you had a good.
I do remember that. Like you used to go up to the city council meetings and be like, "I just want to give a shout out to
That's
my."
right. That's right. Well, we were trying to promote the program, and we wanted
Right.
Patersonians to participate. Ironically, guess who one of the actually, I believe she benefited the most as far as participation is concerned. The new mayor of Paterson, Jane Williams. We recruited her.
Shout out to Mayor Jane.
There you go.
Interim Mayor Jane.
That's right. Well,
how do you feel she's doing right now?
I believe she's doing well. I really do. She knows city government because she was a municipal clerk
for a very long time. Yeah.
Over almost 3 decades.
Over 3 different mayors, I believe. Right.
That is correct. She's outlived 3, and she retired.
Right, and
they brought her back.
They brought her back just to cover.
I like her. I just don't like the way they went about it. We can get into that a little later. But I'll tell you about the council position here. I was elected in 2008. Been elected 2 times since. So this is my 3rd term. I've been there for 10 years. And when I first got there, we had challenges. 2008, I took over, for, like you said, for Councilman Rooney.
Right.
And we had, actually, believe it or not, there was a man murdered across the street from a go-go bar. The go-go bar's name was Charlie's Angels. And I love Charlie's Angels, but not a go-go bar in the middle of a residential area. Because here's how it worked on Robert Street. You're familiar between Getty and Main?
Yeah.
I know that.
So you had a row of homes. So home, Getty, then you had the go-go bar, home.
Right.
So in between these homes, you got children living there. You got School 9, you got a library, you got a mosque, you got a church, and a go-go bar. And somebody got murdered. So we rounded up the residents. We demanded that they close the go-go bar, and we did. And we haven't had an incident since. And that's 10 years ago. Then, a year later, on 21st Avenue, Alex's Playground.
Yeah.
Now, Alex's Playground, they were open late. They were actually open beyond when they were supposed to.
Right.
And guess what happened? Somebody got murdered after hours.
Right.
So we wanted to regulate. We actually closed Alex's Playground down. We need playgrounds in Paterson, but not like Alex's Playground. And we closed.
You get BB's Playground.
Yeah,
you
right. I'm going to tell you about Playground. So after we closed that one, there were like 7 other, and a couple of them were like hookah establishments.
Right.
And I'm not trying to prevent anybody from smoking hookah, but they were not abiding by the law.
Right. I think I remember there was a lot of them like on Main Street.
Correct.
In South Paterson where they were staying like they. I remember I went into one of these establishments.
You did? I thought I saw you on the security camera.
No. I went into one of these establishments and I'm like, how can this be operating right now?
Exactly.
Because it was like it literally looked like there were like teenagers operating the establishment.
You know what my predecessor used to say, Councilman Rooney? It's only Paterson. Anything goes.
True story.
Oh, wow.
So my attitude is like that attitude has to change.
Right.
So the Lava Lounge was probably...
That was like one of the biggest ones, I remember.
I was about to say that was the bane of my existence.
Right.
It took me a while. I took them to court. We closed them. Guess what it is today? Guess what we opened up instead
That's a restaurant now, right?
No, it's a preschool.
Oh, nice.
Because the area was underserved. They didn't have a preschool, so the kids had nowhere to go. Now 75 children have an opportunity, and we're expanding, and we're going to have another site on Crooks Avenue.
Okay.
So there's such a large demand for preschool. People have babies.
Especially in that area. Like, that area is really populated with residents, and it's like...
Populate is the operative word. People are populating.
Right.
So I hear...
If you get my drift. They're not watching enough cable television.
For sure.
What's happening here?
I got
maybe your podcast.
I got 4 of my own, so I already know what it is.
Lord, look at you.
So
you're about to have a Brady bunch.
Definitely. I hear a lot of good stuff right now. You know, you're speaking a lot about the school system and everything. Let me bring up the situation that just happened in Florida the other day.
Oh.
You know, and not only Florida, everywhere else with this situation with guns and all this type of stuff. If you was to become mayor, what type of preventions would you have? Like, what would you do to help out the schools with these type of situations? Because why I asked you this is because yesterday I went with a little debate with someone yesterday on Facebook, and they said that all schools should have metal detectors and armed guards. Now, the metal detector situation, I'm probably okay with. Having an armed guard, I'm not okay with, because you have these kids nowadays. Let's say right now you have an armed guard. You got these kids nowadays that could probably even jump the guy, grab his gun, and just start doing some crazy stuff. Or you could have the guy come in one day, have a situation at home, and murder her school. So
it could pose a problem.
Yeah,
you're right. You know, I was actually talking about this in my psychology class today because I've been a professor at Passaic County Community College for 18 years.
Wow.
So we always open up before we get into the lesson plan with current events because I want to talk about what's happening in the world around us.
Right.
So obviously that was the #1 topic that everybody wanted to discuss. And, you know, Donald Trump is not going to mention the word gun. He's not going to, or control, the term gun control. He's not going to mention it. He's going to say mental health. Okay, that is an issue. Clearly the young man had a mental health disorder. But you also need gun control. Like, if you know that someone has a mental health issue, or if somebody's applying for a gun, you should vet them thoroughly.
Right.
You should do psychological tests.
Well, he did away with the whole Obama era.
Yes, concealed weapons,
and even like the mental background.
So I'm saying
too.
It's a combination. You should have gun control, and if it's a mental health issue, then maybe you should vet these people properly. And I see where you're coming with armed guards. I mean, if we get to that point, it's almost sending like a prison type mentality to people in schools. What you do want a presence as far as your security is concerned.
Right.
Now, we do have metal detectors. We have that already at some of our schools. But you notice it doesn't really happen in urban areas.
I was going to say,
suburbia.
Right.
Not to say we're immune.
No, it's true.
We get such a bad rap.
Yeah.
But it's happening in
You don't hear about it in the urban area at all.
There was, and I should have screenshot that too. There was a post also. I don't know what school it was. They had like a sign in the fence. I wish I knew what it was. And it said something about
in Paterson.
No, not in Paterson. It was on. I seen it on Facebook. I can't say it word by word, but it's saying that to beware anyone that tried to come in with guns, because certain teachers had guns themselves.
Oh yeah, it can't.
And I was
Texas.
And I was reading that, and I was like, nah, this can't be real. You're telling me a math teacher, English teacher, have a gun?
In some towns in the South, that is crazy. Like it's a thing to do that.
There's a belief amongst conservatives that if, let's say, a potential thief, potential criminal knows that you have a gun, they'll be less likely to do anything. I don't buy that. I think you need fewer guns on the streets,
right?
Not more. And to answer your question earlier about guns in Paterson, we have a gun buyback program that is the most successful in the state. Recent statistics show that.
Yeah,
we're getting them off the streets.
Right. So if someone were to find a gun, for instance, right, and they wanted to bring it down, where would they bring it first of all?
So we have a unit.
Right.
We have Operation Ceasefire, so it's a partnership with the community.
Okay.
And we have a specific captain that's assigned to that. And they could always call down to the police department, and they can situate it. The captain's name is Murray, Patrick Murray.
Okay. Good to
They're
know.
not going to get questioned or nothing like that, right?
No, I don't think.
What about that gun had a body?
No,
Like they caught a body with that gun and you bringing it in. I'm just saying, you bringing it in and they're like,
I mean,
how did you get a hold of this?
No, I'm fairly certain that it's a discreet process.
Right.
Okay.
Very anonymous. Okay, good to know.
Getting back to, so we opened up that preschool.
Right.
We got new schools. Children in the area of School 25, which they hadn't had a playground in 10 years. So we were able to raise money from private, and we recruited 200 volunteers, and in one day we built a playground. It took us 6 hours with 200 people. Wow. So that's engaging. I want to engage people. Right.
Community. You want to do that outreach to the community.
I mean, I love President Kennedy. Ask not what Paterson can do for you, but what you can do for Paterson. You got to contribute as well.
Right.
People got to be a part of the solution to the city's problems.
Right.
And that's part of it. But and that's
what are you doing for parking?
That's a good question. I got to work with the parking.
Because I know Paterson has a real big parking situation in certain areas. So I know Main Street's a big hub for parking. You know what I mean? 20. Yeah.
So
exactly.
It needs to spread. It can't be done in isolation.
Right.
We need also creates employment opportunities for your residents, which I think is critical. I've seen it work in other places, like for example, Compton, California, Spain. Dynamic mayor, Aja Brown. She came in. She's look. You know how between reducing crime and increasing economic opportunity, and she did it. And when I went practice that we need to implement in Paterson.
So let me ask you a question: when you have your opponents that are running for mayor, also from corporations, because they think that they're going to be in his pockets and they're going to bring in like their companies, like Walmart or whatever. Like you say to people, in-house business that you bring into the city. You know what I mean?
You need a combination of both, because you're going to have to attract outside investors. There's no doubt, and there's probably more money that could be brought in from the outside than on the inside.
Right.
Because quite frankly, there are people who are interested in Paterson. They just don't believe in the current government.
Right.
considering what just happened
with the
our
corruption
former mayor.
of the former
They don't
mayor
want to
and all that,
invest.
right.
And I tell people all the time, Paterson is waiting to happen.
Shout out Major Marty Barnes and Joey Torres.
I didn't say that.
Two-time.
Patersonians deserve good. Patersonians deserve good government. And
For sure.
like I stated before, there are individuals that are interested in Paterson. They want to invest in Paterson. They want to make sure it's safe to invest and that they potentially can get a return on their investment.
Right.
Now, as far as the campaign contributions are concerned, if people want to contribute and they abide by the law, there isn't anything preventing them from doing it.
Right.
It's just the nature of politics that you have to raise money.
Because I hear you're number one in raising money.
I
right
am,
now.
and also number one in transparency, because I'm not knocking opponents, but there are several opponents that have not filed
I heard
reports.
No,
heard
but
that.
not speaking about opponents. What separates you
Sure.
from them? Like,
All right.
what makes
Oh,
you
man.
the better
I
better
didn't pay him
choice?
to ask me this question because I was waiting.
No.
Yeah,
What-
no,
what-
this is us. This is
Yeah,
all
okay,
us.
okay.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows.
So, like any other job, you have to present your resume. So, I'm proud of my resume. I just told you about my education, right?
Right.
So that's part of your resume. And I have a master's degree in public policy administration. That's government.
Right.
Experience. School board. I was a school board president. I talked about some of the initiatives, getting these schools built, the school uniforms.
How long were you school board president?
4 years.
Okay.
President 1 year, but I was on the school board for 4 years.
Right. Okay.
City council, I told you about, we focus on public safety, quality of economic development. So I'm looking at my credentials, and I believe I am qualified and the best prepared to be mayor at this point in Paterson's history.
Okay. We got there was in the chat. What is your plan to uplift unemployment? Shout out to Stack for asking that question.
Sure. So as far as unemployment is concerned, like I said, there's plenty of investors that want to come in. People have these call centers, data centers. They're going into Totowa. They're going into Clifton. Right now, they don't feel comfortable coming into Paterson. I want to make sure that they feel comfortable because I'm going to be the cheerleader in chief. I'm going to have my Paterson pom-poms promoting this city to attract people to the city. And I think the Great Falls possesses the most potential.
Oh, yeah.
It's a national park. Last year, we saw such an increase in tourism.
It was the highest ever recorded for history.
You got it. 177,000. And guess what? We have 146,000 residents. So we had more people visit Paterson than live in Paterson.
Right.
And that's only going to go up because I got good news for you. You ready? God willing, if I'm mayor, I'll be cutting the ribbon on a new amphitheater at the Falls.
Nice.
Amphitheater. We got to embrace the arts.
Where's that going in the falls?
It's going to be right underneath where Overlook Park is. Are you familiar with Overlook Park?
Yeah.
At the McBride
Up on
Avenue
top of the
extension.
parking lot when you're looking down,
yes,
right?
down. That is correct. That's why it's
Okay.
called Overlook.
Right.
Looking over. That was very good.
So, like, what now?
So wait. So, as far as the Great Falls is concerned, you guys go there, probably get out of your car or like anyone else, spend a few minutes, take a picture, post it on Instagram,
Right.
Facebook, get back in your car. You spent very little time and you spent no money. I need retail, restaurants, souvenir stores. I need vibrance. That's our Niagara Falls.
Right.
And you go to Niagara Falls, you spend money.
It's the third largest waterfall on this side of the Mississippi.
Actually, it's second.
Second?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
We got
second.
upgraded. No, at one time I think we were third, but then somebody revisited that
Oh,
and said,
okay.
let's modify it.
Okay, so it's the second largest
But
now.
what I'm saying is we got a crown jewel.
Right, that's what I mean.
And there's
Like,
economic opportunity.
right. So now here's
So
another.
it could be it's the Grand Canyon for us. It's the Niagara Falls.
Here's another question regarding that area because that's a very beloved area by the city. What's going to happen at Hinchcliffe
Oh my
Stadium?
God.
Because when I graduated high school back in
anticipated that
2006 at Kennedy, we were supposed to be graduating out of that stadium, and it never happened.
I know.
So
Schliff.
that's I'm pretty sure everyone's question right now in the city
Yeah.
lives in that, specifically in that area.
Well, as you know, it's being incorporated as a part of the national park, which would probably make it easier to raise money. But we need a lot of money.
Right.
Right now, there is a project where they're stabilizing the ticket booth and the facade. But we got to move beyond that.
we got to get inside the stadium, don't
Exactly. There's got to be more of an investment in it.
Right.
So we'll see what we could do. The one
I mean, I did remember hearing back in the day that there were investments into it.
there were. Let's see what I can do. Maybe I can spark new interest.
Yeah, because that's honestly, I think like that's a good place where you can have events, shows like concerts, and even the football games, the Thanksgiving game that used to be there in the
Turkey Bowl,
the Turkey,
Kennedy and Eastside.
Like
Before
bring
that, it was Central and Eastside.
right.
Well, I like boxing. What about boxing?
That too.
You could have had Canelo Triple G. No, you're not. Gonna
I mean, you never know, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that, but
Sorry.
you never know.
You know what, BB?
But
You gotta think big.
You can have
You know,
Patterson's
part of the problem
version
is
of
when
that
you
there.
think small, that's what you get.
Obviously.
But if you look at it, if you're saying I'm focused on big picture Paterson,
I mean,
then
that
you
should
shoot
be
for the moon.
that should be part of it too,
That's right.
because it's something there that's just taking up space right now, and it shouldn't be. You know
call
what I'm
it a
saying?
white elephant.
Right, and then you got School 5 right behind it.
Oh
That,
my God.
You know what I mean?
Trying to see if we got any questions on Facebook.
There's
'cause
plenty
we
of
be
potential.
ignoring it. Hold up.
That's fine.
So we got a question in the chat on YouTube. How can we turn downtown Paterson into a safe hub for nightlife?
I was
Similar to how Jersey City has nice little strip when the hipsters going down and chill and
They
stuff.
mentioned Jersey City,
Shout out
but
to
I want
Fetty Wap.
millennials.
No, but that's
I know.
like if you go
You want
downtown.
millennials.
Yeah,
You're a millennial, aren't you?
I just missed it.
You?
88.
84.
Oh, shucks.
Just missed it.
I'm Generation X. But anyway, my point is, people got to public safety. Now, we currently have a class, an academy of 28 cadets. God willing, if I become mayor, I'll be swearing them in. We're going to put them on the streets.
How you get more than 28?
Ready? Next year, we anticipate 70 potential retirements. And most of them are supervisors. And supervisors draw six-figure salaries.
Right.
So for every one of those officers that retires, you could hire 3, potentially.
Right.
So now you're talking hundreds of police, or over 100 police officers
Right.
new,
Okay.
potentially. So that's one thing I'm looking at, and I want to create a metro division within the police department. And Newark has it. Metro division only patrols tourist areas. Downtown would be a tourist area.
Right.
You can build it up. I'm telling you, if you make the area safer, you can make the area stronger. We did it on Main Street.
Yeah, for sure.
Now let's talk about like when we saying safe also. Now you don't not too much now because it's colder now. But now we know that spring is coming.
I'm dreading that.
And summer is coming now.
When it gets warmer,
That
things
it
start to
get-
heat
it-
up.
It gets crazier.
I get your drift.
And my thing is like different parks around the area around here. Like we got Montgomery Park and we have Eastside Park and all that kind of stuff. How can we make that safer for kids when they out there? Like should at least an officer should be out there to maybe
Well, like I
secure it?
stated before, if we're going to be hiring more police officers, we have to insist upon foot patrols. They got to walk.
Right.
They got to walk.
Or even ride a
Gotta-
bike.
Ride the bike.
Walk
I'm
the
not
beat.
opposed to that.
Walk the beat.
Be visible. Just to have a presence.
I remember that was one of Rooney's things back in the day. Like, I want these cops out there walking the beat.
They should.
Yeah.
And you got to get to know your neighborhood. Take that New York City model. They have neighborhood policing.
Right.
My brother-in-law is a sergeant in the NYPD. That's what they do. They engage in the community.
Would you bring in precincts into the different
You know,
wards?
it's interesting
Because
you say
that,
that. I like that.
because honestly, right now I'm looking at places like Jersey City who has changed the way they do things over there, and they
I
actually
am
have
proud to
the
announce
precincts.
on your show.
Right.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
This is breaking news.
Oh, here you go. Give me some bells for this.
Look at
Wait,
this.
wait,
Here we go.
Type of ring-
There you go. So we have, this is an exclusive for you.
Right.
And I say that just for your podcast, we're going to have a precinct in South Paterson.
Okay.
Nice.
930 Main Street, police precinct.
Nice.
Okay.
And I'll continue to do more, but I can only control the
Right.
6th ward right now.
Right.
So
Okay.
hopefully we can have at least one in each ward.
That would be like awesome, because if you have more cops in the city, obviously spread out throughout the city, that's a game changer.
Can you also let your viewers know that we never discussed any of this, because it looks like he's feeding me questions, you're feeding me. You're like
This is
lobbing. You're
the
lobbing
Real Point
softballs.
Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
right.
Everyone knows that. Like,
Well,
you know how we do
but
this.
first of all, everybody know that we're not the most intelligent people
Right,
here.
right.
Oh, don't say that.
This is not even written down. This is straight
This
off
is
the head.
yeah,
Don't
for
sell
sure.
yourself short.
Freestyling. This is like a freestyle off the head right here. But Derek, you actually are doing a great job.
DX the
though.
Great, no freestyle today. He said no freestyle today.
Nah, no freestyle today. Let's see
Yeah, but there's a free flow
Right.
of ideas.
Yeah.
Now-
I mean, this is what the community needs.
Not be-
Because if you don't have this, how are you going to get these ideas out there? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It can't just be you talking to your friend, and then when your councilman comes around, hey, how you doing? And then you don't tell him the ideas.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
got to work as a community.
Besides, what are you planning on doing? I didn't ask you this question either in the beginning. Like, what made you start like when you was actually growing up, made you
What got
start
you into politics?
Yeah,
politics?
of course. Like I stated, I admired President John F. Kennedy, so I saw that he did encourage people to get involved, and that was something I wanted to do. And I always excelled in history. I never did well in math, science. That wasn't those were not my cup of tea.
Right.
But I liked history, and obviously politics played a major role in our history. So Kennedy was an early influence. And then there was a neighbor of mine, Gail Yanarelli, still alive. She got me involved. She's like, okay, you want to volunteer on a campaign? Yeah.
You started working for Pascal, right?
Oh, you got a good memory.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking, that's like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
His daughter used to live around my area, Highland Street, something like that.
Back in the day?
Uh-huh.
Oh, interesting.
His daughter or
No, his sister.
Sister, somebody. I know it was a female that lived somewhere around that area.
On Buffalo Ave?
No, this was by the Riverside area.
Okay.
Somebody that was related to him lived there.
Yeah.
But
he
it was
doesn't have a
female.
daughter. It's probably, he has two sisters.
There's got to be a sister then. You know, I don't really much
Shout out to
about
Pascal, man.
There
Still
you
doing
go.
his thing.
Yes, he is.
All right.
Let me ask you a question. I want to get back into the schools because schools is like one of the most important things. What do you think? Are we going to move from state to city control?
We are.
We are. And do you think Eileen Schaefer is the best fit for that?
I do. And she was just confirmed as
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
permanent
asking. Yeah.
superintendent. And you may remember her from
I
your
used to
days.
work for her back in the day. I don't know if she remembers me, but
You'd be hard pressed to find somebody with a better work ethic.
I know.
I mean, that woman is incredible. She's responsive. She takes action. You.
I used to
call
work with her when she was in. She was assistant superintendent
yeah.
of human resources.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember she used to negotiate labor contracts, and I'm hoping that the teachers get a new contract relatively soon, and I'll be talking to her about that as well. But Eileen Schaefer, to me, is the consummate professional. As I stated before, she's very responsive. Whenever I text, call, email, any form of communication, she gets back to me, which is important because I'm advocating on behalf of parents
Right.
and ultimately their children.
Okay.
All right. And then again, another thing going to the school too. Like I said, I have 4 kids of my own, 3 in school right now.
Right.
2 of my sons, right? One of them, he's in 5th grade now. He had got left back. He started off on help. They was helping him with speech therapy, right? And pretty much this year they cut it off. And then I have my other son that he just started kindergarten. He needs speech therapy, and he don't have the option now because they're saying that they're looking to hire. They told me something about the home study team, whatever it is, that they were supposed to be looking for new speech therapists to be coming in, but they don't know exactly when it is.
Sure.
So I mean, what kind of options are if you was to be voted the mayor? What kind of options will you be doing to help that situation out? Because it's kids that really, really need that help. And not only speech therapy, neither all other help. And even in schools, when you go, like my kids are in school 10. So in school 10, when you said about the uniform, yeah, they got uniform, but their policy is not even legit. Like, they want you to wear uniforms, but if you go to school with uniforms and you don't go to school, it's not a big deal.
They're not enforcing the rules.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. So I got my oldest son where he like wearing his regular clothes. So I go ahead and I buy him his uniform in the beginning of the year. He'll probably wear it for a month or so. After that, he don't care because he want to wear regular stuff. But off of that topic, with technology and everything, I don't see too much technology in there. And
in
everything
the schools, you mean?
all around, in the schools and all around the world, everything is technology now.
You're right.
What can we do to help that out?
Unfortunately, the school district under the Christie administration have been underfunded. That's 8 years.
Phew.
So now
I think a lot of things were underfunded for the last 8 years.
our new governor, Phil Murphy, has stated that they will fully fund our schools.
Right.
So speech therapy, technology, I'm sure those are items we can potentially afford if the governor makes good on his promise to fully fund public schools. And in our case, Paterson.
Right.
Public schools.
So
Definitely.
let me ask you a question, because we're talking about all of these programs and bringing in more cops and public safety and all these other things. Taxes in the city.
Yes.
I know that's a major issue
Yes,
for a
it
lot
is.
of homeowners
Yes,
and
it is.
things
I'm
of
a
that
homeowner.
nature. Are they going to go down? Are they going to stay stable?
The way to stabilize.
Because I know you guys did a revow not too long ago
Yes.
too. So like,
So the way to stabilize your tax base is to increase your rateable base to get more businesses in here.
right,
Corporations, whatever it may be. Make sure that Paterson leverages its advantages. We have 3 major advantages. This is the way I look at it, right? History, diversity,
For sure.
and geography.
Mm-hmm.
We're in New York's backyard.
Right.
Got all that's the geography.
Third largest city.
Correct. We have all the access to highways, major highways.
Right.
Diversity. We have almost 70 plus different ethnic groups. History. We were founded by Alexander Hamilton, the guy on the $10 bill. He was
The guy on Broadway. No.
that is correct. George Washington's BFF, right? So we got to leverage that. That's the way I look at it. You know, you look at Great Falls. You got great food. You got a great future.
Right.
So that would help us attract businesses if you market your city right. And I think it's inevitable you guys are going to bring up legalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it right now.
That was actually the last question someone asked right now.
Yeah.
I don't smoke weed occasionally.
I don't smoke weed occasionally.
Yeah,
Do you hear yourself?
Occasionally. Yeah, occasionally. Like maybe once in a while.
In full disclosure, and I'm not judging anybody, I've never smoked marijuana. But like I stated before, that doesn't make me better than anybody else.
Right.
But as far as the issue is concerned, I think it's inevitable that marijuana will be legalized. Governor Murphy, during the campaign, said that within the first 100 days, that would be a priority, and that they would get it done. And to way to raise revenue, because we'd be the 10th state, and they look at like Colorado,
right,
and they're saying, "Oh, we generate a lot of tax revenue."
People trying to hear you right now.
Right. And they definitely want to hear this one.
Yeah.
So, Greg liked that one.
Yeah.
They approached me, people from these lobbying firms that want marijuana to be legalized, and said, "Well, what would you like to see done?" I said, "Well, if it's inevitable that it's going to happen, I want Paterson to reap some of the benefits from it,
right?
Because somebody's going to get the tax revenue."
For sure.
So they were saying, well, you know, as the legislation stands now, as it's currently constituted, we're only getting like 2% from the tax receipts.
Okay.
And I feel like that's unacceptable.
Right.
Paterson, if we're going to have the dispensaries in our municipality, we should get into the double digits maybe.
Right.
We could aim high. Maybe we end up, if we don't get 10% of it, maybe we get 7%.
Right.
But I want more.
Well, I know.
Because that would help the city revenue.
I know one of Governor Murphy's initiatives with the recreational marijuana also is that he said he wants to start at 7% sales tax, and then eventually work its way up to like 25%. Which I would hope, if it's at 25%, the city is getting a good portion of that for having that dispensary in their city.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Or dispensaries.
Dispensaries, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah. It's gonna be.
They could pop up
multiple.
like liquor stores.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, there's liquor stores everywhere. You'll see one block and it's like 5 liquor stores in one block.
Wasn't it like for every, what was it? I think it was like for every 8 blocks there was one liquor store or something like that at one point. But you guys stopped doing the licenses, right?
Well, you said you never tried marijuana. You're not really missing out on nothing.
Thank you.
What I'll do is I'll just take a couple of pulls just to go to sleep, and I'm being honest about it. It ain't because I like it.
Helps with the insomnia, doesn't it?
Yeah, it helps. But what I'm trying to say is that they have liquor stores everywhere. Everybody could go buy their liquor, get drunk or whatever. And when you when you're drinking, it's probably sometimes you're drinking away your stress, depression, all that other stuff. People smoke to have fun, get the munchies, crack jokes. And,
I mean, it's for medicinal purposes too.
You know,
that's right.
Be relaxed, I guess. So that's something that, you know, if it comes through, it's gonna really help out, and maybe it shapes up all the crimes and stuff.
Maybe you get the tax money for the schools too.
Yeah, probably.
One drawback that I've heard is that there have been traffic accidents as a result.
Right.
On marijuana?
Yeah.
Yeah, because people go out after they smoke and they drive.
I thought I heard a voice in the wilderness.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
They go out and they drive thinking, I'm okay, I can drive.
You can write it down if you want.
Oh, no, I don't know. I did. You know what? I mean, I don't want to.
I mean, but like when
I did smoke one time. Right? Listen,
but you didn't inhale.
Don't do it.
Not inhale.
No, I inhaled.
I'm being serious.
Shut up.
I'm being serious. And I went in the car. I got in the car and I was driving. And it
you
was
weren't driving
car.
though.
Listen, it was a little car, but it felt like I was driving one of them Bigfoot trucks. Like I felt like I was high. I don't know. I don't know.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, hence my point. Traffic accidents.
Right.
I mean, they do it a smart way, and everybody. I don't know if everybody respected it and all that. Then we could probably be all right. Let's see. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
So March 8th.
May 8th.
May
8th.
Not
If
March.
it was March 8th, That's like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
May 8th. I mean,
80 days from today, by the way.
So we're not there yet. But what's the overall plan that day? What's that morning gonna look like for you? Like the breakfast and the stress and
that's right.
How that's gonna look for you?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have the egg platter anymore, so I would have gone there.
Right. You should bring that
know
back.
about that.
You should bring that back. Make sure torpedo base doesn't go anywhere, right?
Derek, that's going to be my slogan.
Who, torpedo base?
That's all I'm saying. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but make sure they clean it too, because it's just not the cleanest place.
Yeah,
not the cleanest place.
They make the best pastrami.
Well,
they
do.
I'm gonna. My slogan's gonna be, I'm gonna bring the platter back. No. So that day we have to be focused, the team and I, on what's called GOTV, get out the vote. So the polls open at 6 and they close at 6 a.m., 8 p.m. And you have to make sure that you mobilize. So phone calls, canvassing, whether it's me knocking on doors or you got volunteers that are in the neighborhoods reminding people to go out and vote.
Right.
Because that's like our Super Bowl.
So let me there's in my generation, there's tons of people who say, why the hell should I vote? My vote doesn't count. Yeah. And I know that's hurtful to hear because you're a politician.
Well, because of last year's situation, you know.
But like, what do you say to people like that are like too hard-headed to vote?
Yeah, I mean, and I just encountered that problem today while I was canvassing.
Right.
So here's what I say. Right. Poor Paterson is at a tipping point, and Paterson's waiting to happen. We have all the ingredients. I talked about how we have access to the highways. We're in New York City's backyard.
Right.
We have the history. We have the diversity. We have all the ingredients, but you need the right chef to stir the pot. And I stated before, I'm presenting my resume. I believe I'm qualified for this promotion based on my educational and work experiences.
All right. Speaking for yourself.
So, I mean, people would rather vote in a presidential election. This is more consequential because you'll feel the impact,
right?
And you'll have access,
especially in local government.
You can touch me. You'll never touch Trump,
right?
Unless you want to smack him.
I wouldn't mind slapping him.
I'm sure you would.
A lot of people.
You don't say that. You can't say so much.
No, yeah, because you're gonna get banned.
Probably,
he's gonna tweet about you.
Yeah, I wish.
Twitter fingers.
Don't do it.
Twitter fingers over there. I just had a question right now. I completely forgot, man.
What was it about?
I don't even remember right now.
He lost his train of thought. That was
my fault.
because
you just said Trump, and it kind of
just like Coach
screwed me on. Let me ask you this though. Speaking about Trump though. Have Trump did anything good in your eyes?
Hold on. If you give me at least like a week, I might be able to give you something. But like I need 7 days.
Nothing.
I might need 4 more years. No, not 4 more years of him.
No.
But 3 years to figure it out.
Right.
I think he's alienated almost every group in America and outside of the country.
Yeah.
To me, it's so surreal.
To me, it's crazy how he still has supporters.
Yeah. I'm in disbelief. I don't believe he won.
Well, I mean, technically he didn't.
That's right. He lost the popular vote.
Right.
Yeah. But unfortunately,
which is the same thing that happened to Al Gore.
That's correct. Yeah, that's happened other times.
That's what happens when Derek go out and he's still voting for Bernie Sanders when he wasn't even up for it.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So,
in full disclosure,
I'm just saying.
I voted for Hillary in the general.
I voted for Hillary in the general.
I voted for Bernie in the primary.
Okay. So are you aligned with what he visioned?
I did like some of his ideas. I wouldn't consider myself
liberal.
But.
Didn't Bernie remind you a little bit though about the guy from the Tales of the Crypt?
Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah, the
and also Doc from Back to the Future.
From Back to the Future. Damn, true story.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, remind me a little bit of those guys. Yeah, but he was a cool guy though. He was a cool guy.
Yeah.
I feel the burn.
Hey,
you got any questions here?
No, not right now. I wanted to ask something too. Damn.
I got a question right there though.
Go ahead.
We have something.
Oh yeah.
It says, well, I mean, I am from the Riverside area also, too. We have potholes down River Street all over Paterson.
Are you on the Facebook?
Yeah. No, this is YouTube. When the hell are we going to fix
I didn't even see that.
When the hell are we going to fix those?
Wow. They use that terminology?
Yeah.
Just like that.
That's fine.
And when they said all over Paterson, it was in all caps.
Oh.
All over Paterson.
Well, even before you answer that, though, I'm going to defend this, though.
Right, go ahead.
Lately, a lot of the streets in Paterson been getting fixed, though. A lot of streets. They used to be to the point that it was terrible.
Let me ask you, in your neighborhood, right? Because every time I go to your house, there's like 50 potholes.
That's all fixed now.
Oh, they fixed it?
Yeah, they fixed it.
Shout out to the fourth ward.
He's right.
Yeah, they fixed it.
So, getting back to that point of pothole abatement, right now it's a little cold. So as
You
far
can't
as the
do
material
anything right now,
is
right?
concerned, right, you need warmer weather. But I'm telling you, if that constituent wants to call me, text me, it's fine. 973-204-5617. 973-204-5617. I'll address the issue. But
No trolling neither.
Seriously.
Although when the lava lounge was open, constituents were texting and calling me at 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh, I knew the house next door to the Lava Lounge. The lady who owned that house, I know her specifically, and I remember her complaining all the time about the Lava Lounge.
Lola?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it.
So,
but my point is, if that constituent wants to text or call me,
right.
I'll make sure we get it on the list. So once they go out, the weather's warmer, they'll abate those potholes.
I do remember my question now.
Go ahead.
What do Paterson like like the people that's following you now? What do they feel about you? Like when they see you, like is it a good feeling, a bad feeling? Because I know recently we just had a petty moment where a tire got slashed in the car.
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on.
Wait,
I did hear
I know
about that,
I know Paterson had a petty moment.
Petty politics.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
You.
So I had to throw that out there.
So for the most part, I've been receiving positive responses. People have been really receptive to the idea of running for mayor. It's not my first rodeo. It's not my first go around, but I feel like some people have voters' remorse considering what happened in the last election. I finished second out of 8 to the previous mayor. And it was a strong second.
Which I think was really running based off his name.
That's right.
In reality.
And
Torres?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, some people are watching the Winter Olympics.
Torres,
No,
man.
please. The Winter Olympics, people could, you win a silver medal. I won the silver medal last time. Now we're going for the gold.
Right.
And I think it's a little bit easier because ever since that last mayoral election, I've been working.
You do have some tough competition, though.
We do.
Who we got? Mendes, right?
Mendes.
I don't like. I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy.
To me, not really that tough. His toughest. I think your toughest opponent would be Bill McCoy.
Cruz, right?
Councilman. He's
You
third
got
ward,
Alex
right?
Cruz, you got Pedro Rodriguez, you got Bill McCoy, you got Mike Jackson,
Right.
and me.
Right.
And the guy Mendes.
Because
Oh,
some
and
people
Alex
dropped
Mendes.
out. Yeah,
Sorry,
Alex
sorry.
But Alex Mendes, all he does is talk loud. That's all he does. That's all I hear from him. I don't got time.
Well, all I can say is I hope people share that opinion of him and they vote for me. That's all.
That's all I hear from that guy.
Right.
Well, Bill McCoy has served on the council for 20 years.
Yeah, long time.
What I caution is that people do not equate longevity with effectiveness. Just because you've been somewhere for a long time doesn't mean you've been able to get maximum results.
Right.
So that's what I've been pointing out to people. I'm putting my resume up against anybody else's. That's the way I look at it. I'm just running on my record, not on their record.
Now,
but if people want to keep saying he's loud, that's fine.
Yeah, he's loud and he's full of it. He's loud and he's full of it. But I mean, that's my opinion, though.
Quite frankly, I think he hasn't finished a term on the council. I think you should finish a term on the council before you run.
Get the experience before you even try to delve into Mario.
With these guys that you're going against, do you have any good relationships with these guys?
That's actually that's an outstanding question, by the way. Well, I mean, we used to say hello to each other. No, it is a little contentious in Paterson, right? Because you have to see each other all the time, and when it gets closer to May 8th, we're going to see much more of each other, and you have to be cordial. You got to,
of course,
project a professional image. But
you ain't gonna be like Casanova out there 2 times.
Oh, relax.
Yeah, you gonna do all that now.
But I'd like to think we have to keep it clean.
Right.
We have to be very civil. That's it. Because Paterson right now at this point, the last thing we need is to project a negative image of ourselves.
Right.
We can't feed that perception of Paterson that people have of Paterson.
All right.
One thing I do want to touch on is that little stretch of road by the falls, but not on the falls. It's a little bit south of the falls. The Colts what was that? The Colts project?
Yeah.
Like that whole area?
Sure.
Is that ever going to get developed?
We are
Because
working on that.
I've seen the gate there for years. You know what I'm talking about, right? When you go all the way downtown.
Like Mill Street.
Yeah.
You're talking. Yeah, the Colt.
Yeah.
That's
The
like
old Colt factory.
Yeah.
That's like by MetLife Stadium, right? That thing over there that been there forever.
Oh, Xana's doing it.
That just been there forever.
Oh my God!
Do
Well, I hear
Oh,
they're gonna.
boy.
That's America Dream Meadowland.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna develop it.
They're still building
That was
stuff
actually a
over
good
there
point.
too.
All right.
So we're gonna secure the fence. right?
Right.
We
Because
call it the ATP.
I have seen people go in and out of there.
We call it the ATP site.
Right.
Actually.
Right.
So yes, that would be a focus of mine
Okay.
because I want prosperity there.
I mean, it's just a site that's sitting there, not developed
Fallow.
at all. Yeah.
Taking up space.
We've had artists that come in here, showed us their music videos, and they've shot music videos in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't they go?
Damn, you snitching, B.
I'm not saying who. I didn't say who.
They could go down the road to the art factory as well.
They've done that too, but
Okay.
Art Factory charges a lot of money now.
Do they? Yeah. I'm a supporter of the art factory. They have an ambitious
Yeah.
vision
Yeah.
for the area. They want something like a accommodation, like lodging, a hotel. I don't know if I can call it a hotel, but it's something like that. We need a hotel in Paterson.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Third
Because
largest city. At the bare minimum, we should
No.
have like a
Yeah.
Holiday Inn.
We have.
What is it, the Rainbow
God.
I got
Hotel?
the Rainbow Hotel. But all right, hold on. The problem with the problem with well, they changed the name, but the problem with
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
is that you lay down in the bed, you may end up pregnant right away.
Wow.
I don't know about all
Bad.
that.
I first got started on the school board, and I always took quality of life issues very seriously. That was the first one we went after, and I wasn't even. That's the fourth ward,
Right.
and we went after before it was the Thunderbird, then it became
The Rainbow.
the Rainbow.
And
We
now
went
it's
after it, and then it was
something
like
else.
became. Now it's like roadway or something.
Something
like that.
weird,
It's so
yeah.
much better than it was.
Right.
But I wouldn't know anything about roadway.
Right.
Yeah. All right. What
Neither would
section
any
of-
of you guys.
Hell no.
We got one question. We got one more. We got one question, and then we
I got one question also. Ask this one first though.
All right. What part of Paterson did you grow up in?
So I grew up in the South Side, the 6th Ward, Lakeview, South Paterson, People's Park. And believe it or not, I live in the home I grew up in. Because
wow.
what happened was,
That's where my brother lives. He lives around there. I don't know
Where?
exactly the street. I don't
I'll
know
go
exactly
knock on
the
his door.
street.
Does he want a lawn sign? How about a bumper sticker? So anyway,
Remember what you?
I got
I don't remember what street it is.
refrigerator magnets. So I live in the house I grew up in because what happened was my mother was living there on her own after I got married, and she had developed Alzheimer's. She's afflicted with Alzheimer's.
Right.
So
Sorry to
my
hear
wife
that.
was kind enough. We moved in with her, and she was with us for about 4 years, but it progressed to the point where she needed around-the-clock attention. So we brought her to a nursing facility.
Okay.
But I'm raising my 2 children there, and yes, my wife is expecting a 3rd.
Oh,
So
congrats.
all my
Congratulations.
children- that's why I have a vested interest in this city, because I'm raising my family here,
Right.
just like I was raised here.
I got 2 questions actually. You know, I just
Go
remembered.
ahead, go ahead.
One question involves the policing in the city. There was an article in the newspaper the other day that came out. One of the developers,
Charles Florio.
Charles Florio, he said he's offering police officers free rent, but they got to stay in the fourth
Oh
floor.
yeah, I read about that too.
So it's like
Oh,
on
and not
12th
just,
Ave,
not just
Rosa
Paterson
Parks
police
Boulevard.
officers, sheriff's officers too.
That's right, sheriff's officers as well. What do you think about that?
So as long as it passes legal muster, like our corporation council says, there are no legal issues with it.
Right,
because
it's
almost
ethical,
like giving
right?
a gift.
Right,
Why not?
it makes sense.
Why not? Because I feel like if police officers living there, people are gonna feel safer.
Right, and then the other question is,
Thank you for asking that, by the way.
yeah. The other question is Paterson's biggest. To me, I think it's one of their biggest issues is the heroin epidemic
Yeah.
that's going on there
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, especially around that 4th Ward area, Broadway, the West Broadway area, going like by the library.
I
of
was
all
just
places.
there today
Like,
by the White Castle.
right, like what can be done in that area? Because
Prostitution over
that
there by Market
Yeah.
Street.
Well,
too.
you got to
Right.
do, obviously we got a target where we enforce the troops concentrate where we have our patrols. And what I told you earlier, if we hire more police officers, not only your division, but you take your narcotics unit and you strengthen it. We could bolster the narcotics unit.
okay.
So they would deal solely with that.
Because most of the problems that Paterson has is not from the residents themselves.
No,
it's from people
out-of-towners.
that come out of
I
town to
see
come
them.
in.
Like, what are you doing here?
Right,
Especially like the panhandlers. Like, why are you in Paterson asking for money? We're poor people.
right,
Go to Bergen County, ask them for money.
right.
Go in
Yeah.
front of the Garden State Plaza.
Yeah, right.
Leave us alone.
That'll be 1 minute in and out.
Exactly.
Well, that's
So
the problem.
nah.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, that's pretty much. Do your kids go to school in Paterson?
Well, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So the 4-year-old goes to the preschool that we opened up in South
Okay.
Patterson.
The other one's too young, obviously.
She's way too young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I respect that.
She's,
Well,
You gonna-
the younger one is not being homeschooled, but we teach her. at home.
Yeah.
yeah.
The other thing is, when are you gonna get the gates out of Kennedy? You know that ugly ass. Excuse my language.
That's a conversation we can have.
Eastside got that shit too.
They do.
But Kennedy looks bad, bro.
Well, Eastside
looks like a jail. Honestly, like
Eastside is the same way.
I guess.
So that's a conversation we have to have with the school board and the superintendent.
Right.
I don't think they should take him out though.
That gate around Kennedy looks bad.
I don't care how it looks though, but it's.
I think their argument is that it reduces truancy.
Yeah, and people coming in and out doing all this other extra stuff.
But then it looks like Joe Clarkson town.
Listen, when I was in Eastside,
I like it. I love Lean on Me.
I love that.
When I was in Eastside,
my mom went to school there around that time. Actually, she dealt with all that. My mom and my aunt.
Yeah, I went to
school around
Eastside,
that time.
and when I was in there, I mean, a lot of people that wasn't even supposed to be in there was coming in before them gates that got put up. So sometimes you can't. It's not about the looks. You gotta think about the safety of it. At the end of the day, so
right.
I mean, it is what it is. But overall, man, I think that's about it, right?
Just about.
Gentlemen, thank you for the time.
What I want you to do is, thank you for coming through too and answering some of the questions. You know,
this is the first time we had a politician on the show.
I'm honored.
So definitely.
Does that mean you'll have more or
possibly?
Okay. No, somebody reach out. You know what I'm saying?
They got to reach out though.
But I don't think they're gonna give us a great interview like this one.
I don't think so either.
So I appreciate that. Now, before we close out, what I do want you to do is let's say give the people that's listening your last response with what you want.
Of course.
You know, for you to get these votes coming in.
Of course. So, like I stated before, the election is May 8th. I'm humbly presenting myself as a candidate. I'm presenting my resume, my educational background, whether it was graduating at the top of my class at Seton Hall University or earning my master's degree from an Ivy League school like Columbia University. But I want to take all those skills that I obtained and apply them to the position of mayor. I firmly believe the work that we've done in the 6th ward, we could do in all 6 wards. And I say it all the time. Paterson is waiting to happen. We have all the ingredients. We just need the right chef stirring the pot. And I plan to leverage the relationships that I have with the governor, because I was one of his first supporters in this area. The lieutenant governor, she was a professor of mine, and she swore me in the first time I became a council person. So, and then with Congressman Bill Pascrell, you mentioned I have an outstanding working relationship with him. The county, I have relationships with the administrator, the county administrator, the freeholders. So I want to leverage those relationships to bring resources to Paterson so that Paterson can finally benefit, that we're not passed over or pushed around anymore. We push back. And that Jersey City, Newark, Camden, they're not the only urban areas that receive legitimate investment from the state.
Right.
I'm not talking about municipal aid. That's akin to an allowance for a child. We don't want an allowance. We want an investment. We want people to invest in Paterson. And I want to create investment opportunities and employment opportunities. It's long overdue.
For sure.
Paterson is sinking.
Bring it back.
Can't allow it to sink any further. Some people would equate it to the Titanic. If we don't get this election right, if you get the wrong captain, you could hit an iceberg.
Yep. Well,
put me behind the wheel.
All right.
Not just because you're here, but you got my vote.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And if I was still in Paterson, you would probably get my vote.
I know. So the shirt's got my vote.
Hey.
Definitely got my vote.
I wore it today.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time, coming in, answering some of these questions for us.
I appreciate the opportunity.
I wish you nothing but the best. And I hope, when what is it again, May 8th? When May 8th come, you're our new mayor, and we get the key to the city.
Oh, did I say that?
I gotta throw that out there.
Hey, that'd be nice.
Hey, that would be nice.
Hey, we do a lot for the city, man.
And at the very least, maybe you can go to Lowe's and make a copy of the key to the city.
Hey, we both get it.
Why not? But I respect your views and everything that you're trying to do. And
yeah, seriously.
And God bless you. God bless your family.
Bless both of you guys.
For sure.
And thanks for only cursing twice. That was impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's a record.
Really
that might be a record for you.
That's a record because it's always a.
I'm gonna have to time it. See how many minutes.
Yeah, I know. So other than that, man, I am BB.
This is Derek.
We're the Real Point Podcast, and we're officially out.
Thank you for tuning in, Mr. Sayegh. Thank you for coming through. We appreciate you.
All right.
Bye, Felicia.